So you've seen the markets today. What do you think? The overall view of Forex today?
Well, really good figures out internationally, particularly the US ISM figure. It's equivalent of our local purchasing managers index. Ask businesses what are their conditions like. The US ISM index came in extremely positive. It's pointing to a very rapid stabilization in the global economy, which is definitely positive. And on the back of that, you're seeing global equities gaining, and you're seeing most risky currencies gaining. Surprisingly, however, the rand is very lackluster. It's not managing to follow all these other global currencies stronger. Pretty much a surprising result.
Well, according to reports today, rand's been very firm against the dollar. It's been a very quiet day's trading. How do you see it developing throughout the week?
Yes, well, the rand has been firm, but it should have been doing a lot better. We've got a low that was reached on dollar rand approximately about a month ago at 764, and we really need to break that on dollar rand to see any further rand gains. There's some suggestions the Reserve Bank is in, maybe that's limiting the gains, but as you were speaking about earlier, there's a lot coming out this week, particularly on the international front. We've got the first key indicator today, the US ISM figure, and we have the US non-farm payrolls on Friday. If we get further good positives, all the international markets are running. Just maybe dollar rand can make new lows this week.
Okay, new report out from Investec today, and was saying that they believe that commodity prices are going to heat up again, and this is going to help strengthen the rand. What's your view?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors impacting on the rand, as always, but the key one, without any doubt, is the timing and the pace of the global economic recovery. What we've seen over the past 3 or 4 months is the global economy has been doing exceptionally well. Well, not in the sense that the economy is strong, but just the recession has ended much more quickly than anyone anticipated. And if you take that forward, if you expect what the economists would call a V-shaped recovery, then the rand will continue to appreciate. We're a little bit more skeptical. I think there's a lot of evidence out there to suggest that the global economy is going to remain relatively weak. In other words, just stagnate, return to very positive, minor rates of positive growth. Domestic economy much the same. To me, that's not an environment where commodity prices will do well, and consequently not one where the rand is going to do very well. I think we've just got to be a little bit cautious about just extrapolating the rand gains going forward.
Well, speaking about skepticism, I mean, one thing I'm a little bit skeptical about that Investec mentions here, they say the World Cup next year is going to provide capital inflows. Yes, there's been a lot of spending on infrastructure. Yes, there are going to be literally hundreds of thousands of tourists coming here with foreign currency. But really, is it strong enough? Is it big enough to affect the currency?
Our estimates put the total tourist inflows associated with the World Cup around 13 to 15 billion rand. That is quite meaningful. It's not huge, but certainly meaningful, certainly enough to help the rand. But really what the big thing is the positive psychological impact that it's going to have on South Africa and the whole world's attitude towards South Africa. And that can be more important than you think. After all, markets and even economics is driven by animal spirits, by people's psychology. If South Africans have got a positive view, they're going out and spending again, maybe they can lift the economy next year. But ultimately, again, I come back to the key point, the rand will be driven primarily by what happens in the terms of the pace and the timing of the global economic recovery.
Looking a bit further afield now, the euro has been struggling a bit.
Not today, actually. Euro dollar's a bit stronger, went through that 143 level. It has been struggling, you're correct, has struggled repeatedly to break that level. Just the last few hours we've managed to go through that level, and that should help drag dollar rand lower. And the key one really to note today is just cable, in other words, sterling has done exceptionally well. Some positive figures coming out on the corporate front, some positive figures on the domestic economy in the UK. Cable, so sterling dollars up to 169, really phenomenal performance.
And finally, very briefly, the US dollar?
Yeah, a lot of talk about the US dollar, and it's really also a key issue for the rand. A lot of talk that the fiscal injections, large budget deficits in the US, monetary printing from the Fed are going to weaken the dollar significantly. Now, that is a risk, and I emphasize there's really considerable uncertainty on this front. But we don't really buy the story about the dollar is going to suffer significant weakness. Asian central banks are still in there buying dollars very strongly. All the data coming out of the US is much stronger than that coming out of Europe, for instance. The US current account is contracting. I think we must be careful about not getting too negative about the dollar. And again, your view on the dollar is certainly going to impact your view on the rand as well.